1 p.m. Eastern, Tennessee Titans 3-5, 0-4 on the road at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3-5, 1-3 at home at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, 84 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 8 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Bucks, Titans. We have here, and the Bucks have been really good to a lot of us this year. They're a pretty predictable team. So to see them be so bad through the air against the Texans and then so bad in the red zone was shocking. Absolutely shocking. Maybe you're only comfortable backing them in these situations at home. They open up at -1 at -106. That's exact. Oh, now it's -1, -101. So there's been a 5-cent move at that number. We should probably look at the money line instead, though. Let's go over to the money line for this spot here, because that 5-cent move at the -1 towards the Titans. The money line will tell us a better story. On the money line here, we have Pinnacle keep holding the Titans at -104. They open up at +101, so there's no difference. But this did get to -112, on Sunday night, very late, around midnight. From a total perspective here in the Bucks-Titans game, we're sitting at a 39. This total opened up at 39. It dropped down to 38 and is back at 39. When we take a look at the cash flow for the Titans-Bucks spot, we'll talk about both money line and the spread. On the spread at +1, 43% of the tickets, 75% of cash on the Titans. Same thing on the money line, 41% of the tickets, 65% of cash. And then 75% of the tickets and 80% of cash is on the over. Top Set says Bucks and over. Sky Dragon says my favorite over of the week. He says he believes in Levis, doesn't believe in Tampa defense. Tampa has weapons, over. So a lot of over love here. Interesting. Titans come in off a 2016 loss versus Pittsburgh in Will Levis's first road start of the year. The Titans haven't won on the road all year. 0-4 right now on Tannehill's back healthy, but Vrabel's announced that Levis is starting quarterback moving forward. Levis was 22 of 39 for 262 yards and a pick. Kyle Phillips caught 4 passes for 68 yards. DeAndre Hopkins caught 4 for 68 as well. I think that was 4 for 60, though. I think I wrote 68 twice. I believe it was 4 for 60. Derrick Henry ran 17 times for 75 yards and a touchdown. The Titans struggled on third down, just 3 of 16 in that spot. They were also 1 of 4 in the red zone. They're 31st in the league in red zone scoring. They're getting touchdowns 34.6% of the time. Do we put a line through those stats because of their Tannehill stats? Possibly. Treylon Burks carted off the field late in concussion protocol. Defensively, they weren't able to dial up any pressure. 0 sacks, 1 hit on Pickett. Actually, 2 hits on Pickett. Their run defense, we talked about it in the last game, just when we talked about the Steelers, because they were the best in the league last year. They allowed 160 yards last game. Over the last 3 games, they're 29th in the league, allowing 148.3 yards per game. They remain very strong in the red zone, third, allowing touchdowns just 36.7% of the time. Steelers were 2 for 4 in the red zone there. And offensive tackle Nicholas Petty-Frere hurt his shoulder, and he's unavailable this week. The Bucs coming off their 4th straight loss, a wild 39-37 loss at Houston, unable to get stops. Their secondary was eaten alive by C.J. Stroud. They were outgained 496 to 332. The league's best red zone defense allowed the Texans to go 3 of 4. They put some pressure on Stroud, sacking him 3 times, hitting him 6 times, but it didn't matter. They're now the 2nd worst passing defense in the league, allowing 279.4 yards per game through the air. So they seem vulnerable. Offensively, they did enough to win. Baker, 21 of 30 for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Evans caught 4 for 87. Cade Otton caught 6 for 70 and 2 touchdowns. He did lose a fumble. And Rachaad White was excellent. That's the first time I've ever said that. 20 carries for 73 yards and 2 touchdowns, caught 4 for 46. If he can continue to move forward, it'll be a huge opportunity for the Buccaneers defense, because they're 30th in the league on the ground, averaging 78.3 yards per game. And quarterback Jamel Dean, now in concussion protocol. Why wouldn't we be on the over that they're talking about here in the chat? Now, 75% of the tickets and 80% of cash are on that over. And then, if it was something that was concerning the books, I don't know why they went from 39 down to 38, opening up their arms to over money. They're still doing that at 39. Take it away, Troy. Very interesting hearing the cappers in the chat on the over. It's an appealing spot. What's your thoughts, Titans Bucks?
I had a note that I erased because I didn't move up. I didn't end up moving on it, but this was an over I was definitely considering. I think a lot of that, what we talked about defensively, makes sense. I expect both teams to have some success, but this Bucs team was just so disappointing last week. I already kind of touched on this. Before that last week, they were 32nd on third downs, but first in the NFL on in the red zone, and that's just completely unsustainable. And that's what showed up this past week. The Texans, who are one-dimensional, they can't run the ball, they couldn't kick field goals, and yet they destroyed the best red zone defense in the NFL, and they made it look easy moving the ball downfield on this Bucs team. This team could not run the ball at all, but they just marched down the field through the air with C.J. Stroud. 4th and goal from the 9. I touched on that too earlier. No problem for C.J. Stroud. Pitch and catch. If you told me that the Bucs offense would be better than the Bucs defense through this point in the year, there's no way I would have believed you. But that's what the numbers suggest. Offensively, PFF got them ranked 17th. PFF got them ranked defensively 27th. And they can't rush the passer or cover in the secondary, apparently, based on what we've seen last week. And the Titans are still adjusting to the transition to the new quarterback, right? Will Levis. It's the new era has started. And I thought he was actually really impressive on Thursday night, given the circumstance. The Pitt pass rush, prime time, first career start on the road. Kid was making plays. He made some beautiful throws, some touch passes. I was really impressed with what I seen. Now, I know we're only 2 games in his sample of his career, but what I've seen so far, I think they made the right decision announcing that he's the starting quarterback moving forward. And this, like you said, this is the worst defense we've seen in Tennessee in quite some time, especially on the run D. They cannot stop the run. The run defense on PFF is graded out as 26th. Their coverage, 23rd. Their pass rush, 23rd. Usually we see a ferocious defensive line that stops the run and applies pressure. Not the case with the Tennessee Titans this year. Both defenses are weak. It makes me want the over. And I think, based on when I'm looking in the database, Bucs at -1, it's kind of telling. Home teams at -1, between 1 and +1 or whatever, between +1.5 and -1.5 are only 18 and 30 straight up. That's 37%. And if you just look at when they're favorites, it just cuts the sample in half. 9 and 15, 37% ATS. So this line at -1 is telling me that the Titans are the right side.
Wow. So you think you're going to get to the window?
I'm not there yet. No, like you said, I'm a little bit biased too because the Bucs have been so good for me this year. Maybe I'm a little bit biased. They even cashed me out last week, despite everything that happened. I'm close. I really am pretty close, Jimmy, in this case, but I haven't moved on it yet.
I can understand the X's and O's taking everybody to the over. The Titans' weak defense and the Buccaneers, putting up 37 and getting a run game from Rachaad White. So why in the world would it open up at 39 and drop to 38? And that it wasn't initially. I don't want to believe in what I just saw, which is the craziest thing in sports, that you try not to believe in what you just saw. It's just messed up. But at this point, I would be more if this opened up at 39 and was now at 40.5, I jumped there with you guys. And it's like what you're talking about with the 3s moving to 3.5, actually getting more confident. And everybody caps differently. And I know, there's a lot of cappers in the chat that don't care about, what the market is saying. They care about what their X's and O's are saying, what their power rankings are saying. And I respect that very much. But the fact that this seems like such a clear over and it went from 39 to 38, now back to 39, but still juiced to the under, is going to keep me off of this.